Well, it looks like our old boy Bobby Manfred is at it again, bringing up the Astros like it's yesterday. That's right. On the cusp of the Astros-Dodgers series, he says he might not have given them immunity. Okay, Mr. Rob, let's talk about this and some roster moves on tonight's Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Bierling's back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. I can't stand Rob Manfred. Always Stros.
Guys, if you can't stand Rob Manfred, you know what else you can stand? Maybe you can stand watching us every day, making us your everyday listen. Become an everydayer on whether it's on YouTube. Go and hit that big subscribe button. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/lockedonmlb and they'll throw in a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. And we're definitely going to be talking about the All-Star update. The second round of voting has begun. Roster move. I mean, if you look on the screen, you'll get a little preview of who that is. Rob Manfred wants a do-over. He wants to go back in time. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. Yeah. If you remember the what was that?
Wayne's World. Yes.
Wayne's World. Now, do we have a first base issue? And I mean, going beyond Jose Abreu. So it got so bad that we have people who've never played first base before playing first base. And we'll talk about that. Yainer Diaz is super hot. And how hot a homestand did he have? We'll talk about that soon. And Astros versus Dodgers. Very convenient, Mr. Manfred. We'll talk about that as well. So thank you for listening. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. All-Star update. And Jose Altuve moved on to the second round, right?
No, he did not. There was only one Astro that moved on to the second round. That was Corey Jolt. I mean, that was Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez is the only one. Jose Altuve came in a bit late. He did get quite a few votes for not playing the first couple months of the season, which was nice to see. I was under no illusion that any other guy would make it besides him. I figured it would be him and Yordan, but I was wrong. But I believe Dusty has a manager vote to be able to bring somebody in from the team. So he'll find a spot for somebody, whether that's Altuve or Dubon or someone like that. I believe he can bring in at least another player because he is the manager of the All-Star team, right? Can't he do that?
I don't think that's how it works, but I know that if you're looking at like the pitchers, that's typically voted on managers, players, and other individuals. So, and front office people. So that's how you can get somebody like Framber Valdez on the team. But if you look at the offense as a whole this year, there's not much out there that the Astros have done well. They've been very inconsistent. The only one that's been very dependable is Alvarez, and he's just out for 4 to 6 weeks right now. And I doubt he's going to beat any of those guys unless you get out there and vote. So if you want to vote for Alvarez, if you want to see one of your Astros get on the starting roster, even though he's on IL right now, you have to get out there and vote, Astros fans. So get out there, vote. He's the only one that made it. And vote Astros. That's all you got to do at this point.
Exactly. So guess who's back? Bly Madris. Bly, is it Madris or Madris? Because I'm going to say Madris. Yeah. Are you sure it's a long E?
Yes. Okay. Brandon Del Castillo. Make sure I said it right. So
let's just call him Bly. Okay. Bly's back up because he plays first base. That's the only reason why he's up. He's not up for his bat. He's not up. Eric, what other position do we need help in other than first base? We don't need help at shortstop or second. We don't need help in the outfield. We got too many of those guys. Where else do you need somebody? He's not a catcher. Okay. You brought him up because he can play first base. Okay. That is why he's up here.
I'm not saying that's the only reason he's up here. I think the reason he's up here also. Reason. Well, yeah, but he's also more veteran than Greg Kessinger, than Salazar. Salazar wasn't getting playing time, so you needed somebody who's had some major league experience. And yes, you had Mauricio Dubon playing first base, even though he hasn't played first base since high school or something like that. So it's been a long time since he's played it. And I mean, he dove into the stands yesterday, so that was scary, but kind of exciting. But he went out there and did the best he could in that situation. But in AAA this year, he's batting .249 with 809 OPS. He has 10 homers. He can play first base, left field, right field, and DH. So those are the other options. But I think Dusty wanted another guy that had some veteran leadership, because you got a lot of rookies on this team. And not to say that Bly Madrias is a very like a veteran player, but he's somebody that has some experience out there. But because you took him off the 40-man roster earlier in the year, you're going to have to add him back to the 40-man roster. That's why he hasn't been officially added to the 40-man roster at this moment. So they're either going to have to DFA somebody or add somebody to the 60-day IL. I'll go ahead and take a look at the 40-man roster right now.
Okay. So, this is just one of those moves where I don't know, like the Astros do things sometimes, and I'll just be real honest with you. I don't understand it. Like, why wouldn't you bring up someone like Corey Lee? And that way you have another catcher. That way you can put Diaz at first if you want to. That way you don't have to do this jostling with the 40-man roster. It doesn't make sense to me. Why don't you get a guy that's already on there? It doesn't, Eric, some of these
Corey
things don't make sense. They just don't make sense. Right. Like, it doesn't make sense when they don't give us information. It doesn't make sense when they make moves like this. It just really doesn't. I mean, I can't be the only one thinking that in Astros universe.
All right, so here are the options. Rylan Bannon, David Hensley, Cesar Salazar, Anoli Paredes, Parker Mazinski, or Joel Kuhnel, the guy they just claimed on waivers or traded for cash considerations. Those are only guys I can see that they can DFA. And if you're looking at people they can add to the 60-man IL, Jose Urquidy. And that would be retroactive. So he could still come back in time, like around the All-Star break. So if you don't want to get rid of anybody, you can actually add Jose Urquidy to the 60-day IL.
But he's traveling with the team. Well, why would you do that? He's been throwing. That
doesn't delay him, so it retroactivates. It goes back to the start of the season.
But it would delay him if he can be ready to pitch before the 60 days is up, even if it's retroactivated.
No,
because what date are you going back to on that 60 days?
Well, how many months have we had in the season already? 2 months, right?
Yeah,
that's 60 days. So, and that's just another option I think they can do. And he's not going to be ready for another. I mean, I think that's an option, a last resort option. So I think it's a DFA option probably. So one of those guys I named, if you're going to ask me what my honest opinion is, it's either going to be add Urquidy to the 60-day IL since he hasn't really taken the mound in the minor leagues yet, or Bannon's going to be bye-bye.
Bannon, or, I mean, I guess they're hanging on to Anoli. What's he doing? He's not really doing anything. He hasn't really improved his stock. He's just kind of, cooking in AAA, and the cooking he's doing is apparently not good enough because he's not up here. So, like I said, look, this is a part of baseball at times that I don't understand all the ins and the outs, and so I'll just default to the experts and trust that they are making the best decision. And, I'm not going to pretend to know all the implications of this. Okay, Bly Madris is added. Woohoo! Yay! That's exciting. I'm like, who
Going
like,
to World
really?
Series.
I'm just like, come on, man. Like, give me something significant. Like, seriously, like Montero. Like, people are talking about, is Montero like going? Are they going to DFA this guy? Like, he is terrible right now. I know they're not going to DFA him, but Jesus, this guy is abysmal, Eric. He is a shell of his former self. And I didn't think about this contract when they signed it, Eric, because 3 years to a relief pitcher, dude, this guy, he hasn't had a consistent output from year in to year out. And so I don't know. I'm just really kind of thrown off.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about a comment a little later that Dusty Baker said about Montero. And then we're going to have to talk about Rob Manfred. He said something about the Astros. They did something like 7 years ago, and he's still harping about what something he did wrong maybe 4 years ago. Maybe he can go back in time to the good old days when he knew what he was doing, or maybe he didn't. So we'll talk about that in a second. But this episode is brought to you by FanDuel.
That's right. FanDuel is, look, baseball season here is here. It's in full swing. There's no better place to get in the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to join today. So don't miss your chance to snag your no sweat first bet, $1,000, when you join FanDuel today. Basically, if your first bet doesn't make, you get money back for it in bonus bets. So that's really a good deal. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up today. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball trademarks are used with permission. And the Astros play the Dodgers on Friday night, 9:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM and the SXM app. Search Astros as well. Join us Friday night because we will be at Home Run Dugout in Katy over on Grand Parkway. Look up Home Run Dugout. Put it in your GPS. It will take you right to us. 8 o'clock, we have our live show. 9:10, we'll be doing a watch party. We'll be doing giveaways, game tickets, bobbleheads, and some just coasters, stickers, stuff that I have to hand out to you guys. So it should be a good time. So come hang out with us tomorrow night. We will be there in Katy.
You know what? When we go to
I couldn't hear you over the clapping.
I mean, yeah, I know. That's what we're going to hear totally at Dodger Stadium. It's just going to be nothing but clapping. I mean, there could be Astros, welcome to our stadium. We're so glad that you're here. Can you come play here every series, because we love you, Astros. And it was already going to be an awkward series. It's already going to be, the Dodgers hate the Astros. And for something that we did, that happened, almost 7 years ago now. And it's just frustrating. I know it's easy to say, let it go. But for a lot of those franchises, they will never let it go. And now we have the commissioner of baseball who has been standing firm with his decision for all these years. Now he's coming back and saying, you know what? Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I could have done things better. Maybe if I can go back time and maybe make a better decision, I could have maybe not looked like such a, but you can't go back.
The way he phrased this quote, okay, I'm not sure that I have approached it with giving players immunity. He told Sean Gregory, once we gave players immunity, it puts you in a box as to what exactly you are going to do in terms of punishment. I might have gone above the investigative process without that grant of immunity and see where it takes us, starting with, I'm not going to punish anybody, maybe not my best decision ever. Okay, Bobby Manfred, you were not going to dox these players. You were not going to out them. You know why? Because the Major League Baseball Players Union is mega strong. They were not going to allow this. Tony Clark and the players would not allow this. Why? Because then you would have to make everybody squawk. Everybody would have to squeal like a pig.
Mhm.
I'm dead serious. Every team, every person involved. And then what precedent is it set? Do we now take this and retroactivate it to the Yankees back-to-back titles where they had several known steroid users? How far back do we take this? And do you want to open Pandora's box? The bottom line is this. Rob Manfred made the Astros the scapegoat of the league when this was a league-wide scandal recognized by multiple players on multiple occasions. And if you as a fan don't know that the Astros weren't the only team, then you have not been paying attention to baseball. And Rob Manfred, this is a disingenuous clickbait move on your part because the Astros and Dodgers are playing this weekend, which doesn't make sense because neither team is in first place. Look, he's got us where they want us, right? We're not in first place anymore. But you know what? Come time to step it up in the playoffs, we'll run through LA, we'll run through New York, we'll run through whatever major city we have to get to that title. So whatever, Rob, I'm so tired of them rehashing this. Eric, this is the kind of crap why players were going out saying the Astros deserve to be hit in the head. We're going to go after the Astros when they come out. This is the kind of bull crap that got it started.
Yeah, so definitely, I think what Rob Manfred is doing is he's scrolling Twitter and he's seen a lot of these people saying, well, Max Scherzer gets suspended for using pine tar or rosin, and all these other pitchers get suspended for using rosin, and none of the Astros players got suspended. So Rob Manfred is just like, oh no, my reputation is about to be ruined. So you know what? Let me go ahead and say, you know what? I messed up. I apologize. So if I could go back in time, I'll go and fix it. But this is what he said in 2020. Given the fact that we didn't think that we could make it a discipline stick with the players, we made the decision we made. But if you think about it, like you mentioned, I just want to emphasize this. If he didn't offer immunity to the players would not have said anything. They would have just gone on and just said, nope, I don't remember. I misremembered that. I really don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Commissioner. Nothing happened, but the Astros were the scapegoats. They were made example, and the Muno did not pass down that email to AJ Hinch, and so that's why they were both kind of let go, and they were punished. But I don't know why now. It just makes no sense why right before the Astros play the Dodgers, this comes out. You don't think there's already going to be enough BS in that stands and
Evan Drellich
there? It's already dangerous for them to be there. You're going to do this crap right before then?
Evan Drellich has a book to sell. Evan Drellich says his book is not about the Astros, but Evan Drellich's book, the cover is orange and blue. And it is about the Astros. They are the main person in the story. They are the whole reason the book was written, because without this 2017, it still baffles me, Eric, that they chose to use a trash can and nothing more high tech, because I promise you, had they used something more high tech, I don't think this would have been that big of a deal. But yeah, this is just another day in the life of a Houston Astros fan.
Yeah, and like Will Bite brings up, is the Astros lost draft picks. That has put the Astros where they are right now.
Big time.
They don't have the trade bait that they
Capital,
had in past.
We don't have the trade capital. We don't have the organizational depth. 2 years in a row of missing a first and second round pick.
Right.
That's huge. And I honestly believe that the Lunau and the Hinch firing was Major League Baseball saying, you need to do this. And Crane's like, hey, okay, we'll go ahead and do this. I don't know that Crane necessarily wanted to fire those two. I don't know Jim Crane personally. I haven't talked to him one-on-one. I haven't written an article on him. but it's just, I think there's more to meets the eye than this whole thing. So at the end of the day, thanks for rehashing it. That's okay. The Astros are still 2-time World Series champions. So hang your hat on that, Rob.
Yeah, so I mean, we can continue discussing, but I just don't see a point. And this guy wants some more playing time, but do we play him at first base? I don't know if that's the best issue, but the Astros have a first base issue. We'll talk about that. Yainer Diaz is hot. That's definitely something we're going to discuss, but we got a lot more on the show. But this episode is sponsored by Hooters.
Do you and your buddies need a place to hang out and watch the Astros continue to dominate the competition? What about making your local Hooters your choice for great wings, brew, and fun to be had by all? From Webster to Sugar Land, from Katy to Baytown, from Galveston to Stafford, and anywhere in between, they have TVs everywhere, and you can watch the Astros or whatever sport you're into. Go check it out. Whether you're dining in, ordering online, placing an order for delivery, it's the best food in Houston. Also, they have the world-famous Hooters girls who are there to make you happy. Also, Hooters Pearland has a 3-on-3 basketball tournament coming up June 24th. Bring your buddies and join them for fun. And just know that in July 7th, we will be doing a live event at Hooters Pearland as well. They have every week going for them happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. to close. They also have anytime $3 Blue Moon drafts and $9.99 Michelob Ultra pitchers. No matter what the occasion, Hooters is ready to make you happy. So why not go hang out with the guys, Locked On Astros, hang out and go check out Hooters today. And just know that the Astros play the Dodgers on Friday night. It is a 9-10 game. That's right. Catch all the local action of the local call by Sparky and Ford on the hometown broadcast with Sirius XM on the SXM app. Search Astros.
Alrighty, yeah, that's gonna be an epic series. Anytime you play the Dodgers, it's a cool thing. But Rob Manfred just like, you know what? This is all. There's already gonna be blood. Let's go and add blood and guts to this. That's basically what happened with this. And so I just don't understand with the timing. And I don't want to draw. I don't want to go too much into this, but let's go ahead and talk about some comments that Dusty Baker had to say about Rafael Montero real quick. He said, "You've got to pitch him sometime. He's been struggling. I know it. You know it. Everyone knows it. You have to take your shot in the 6th inning when you got 4 innings to do whatever mishaps that happened versus the 7th or the 8th. I'm surprised he didn't say the 9th. You just take your shot at some point in time." And so basically he said that he was saving Ryan Stanek for extra innings. So that's why you put Montero in at that time. So basically, if you've got a reliever that ain't working, you've got to use them sometime. So why not the 6th inning?
Well, I mean, it makes sense. What
Yeah,
he's saying is if he messes up and gives up the lead or creates a tie in the ball game, you have 3 more innings to actually make up for that. So you're obviously not going to put him in the 9th. That's why he didn't use the 9th inning as an example, because you would never pitch Montero in the 9th. I mean, you would pitch Maldonado in the 9th before you pitch Montero in the 9th. You would never do that. And dude, Eric, how about Ryan Presley getting back on his just the command that he has for his pitches with the day off going into LA? It's a great thing. You might see Presley, if they can get a series win, get a couple saves while they are in LA. And so, look, Rafael Montero's in trouble, dude. He's got a lot of people concerned, and I'm really hoping for his sake and for the team's sake they can fix whatever's going on. But the only option I think for him to get him fixed is to an injury to pop up, an IL stint to happen, and some rehab starts in AAA to maybe fix him, to maybe bring him back up. So who knows?
Who was that? Who are you talking about?
Rafael Montero.
No, he has no minor league options. So
I didn't, Eric.
Yeah, okay.
If he goes on the IL and he's injured and he has to do rehab start, he would do rehab start in minor leagues. Yes.
Yeah, that I didn't get that part of it. So okay. So no, you can't like that's all I was just saying. You can't option him down. So that's why
I know that. No, he's completely out of options. I mean,
That's what I was confused about. So, but anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to do the Astros have a first base issue? We already know that Jose Abreu is not Jose Abreu this year. And I know you talked about some article that said that Dubon or Abreu could be trade bait for the Astros during the
That was Jim Bowden, and we won't, although he's a former GM, he has some ridiculous ideas. Nobody's trading for Abreu. He's got no value, whether it's money, age, or production. He's got all three he's missing. So that's a big no. And Dubon, we know the heck they're not trading him. So yeah, totally dismiss that. Basically what Bowden was doing was he was trying to pick players on each team that could be trade pieces.
Oh,
and I think he swung and missed on that horribly. I was like, you didn't pick Chaz, you didn't pick Jake, you didn't pick Jolks, you didn't, what I mean? There are other names that would make sense in that conversation.
I can see Dubon because he doesn't really. No.
Sign him to a 3-year deal.
No, what I'm saying is with Dubon, I can see why he, from the outside looking in, doesn't see a place for Dubon. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I just don't see.
I guess I can check with that, but I guess just knowing this team
with Abreu, he's struggling. Maybe he thinks that change of scenery would help him. But what he doesn't know is the Astros don't really have any options right now at first base. And the Astros will have to be making a trade at the trade deadline to upgrade at first base. Right now, they have a negative 1.1 F4 at first base. No American League team is getting worse value from this position. So Abreu has a 587 OPS, and it's just he's struggling. And you had I think we talked about earlier, Dubon played first base for the first time since since he was like a little kid when he was in high school or something. And then you had Greg Kessinger play first base. It was the first time he's played first base in a while. So for some reason, he's lacking confidence in Yainer Diaz to play first base right now. So I'm not sure why. I mean, when Yainer Diaz plays first base, he seems like he's okay, and he does a great job doing it. So I just don't get it. So, I mean, Diaz is not a Gold Glover or anything, but he gets the job done. He has more experience at first base than Dubon or Kessinger. So I just don't understand why you don't have him play. So, but Diaz is super hot. Any closing thoughts about the first base position before we go to Diaz?
Yes, sorry about that. My dog got out, so I was just making sure that my son went out there to get my dog. That's why I bolted on the screen.
Okay.
Look, first base, I just think I don't know why you don't put Diaz. That's why I'm surprised with the Bly Madrid. That's why I'm surprised that you didn't bring up Corey Lee. That's why I'm surprised you. I just think that Diaz is your guy to go to first base. I mean, he's got several games and multiple seasons playing first base. Last year, AAA, I watched him play first base over half the times I was there. And why you wouldn't do that doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense about Bly is 19 games this year at first base. So they are basically telling Jose Abreu, your time is limited. And they trust him, but maybe they put him at DH. Look, roster construction, lineup construction, I apparently don't know anything about baseball, because every time I think, hey, this would work, they do the exact opposite of what I think they should do.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that Dubon is going. David says Doobie stays. I think that Dubon stays.
No, what you were saying was, because now I understand your point. What you were saying was, in the outside looking in, he would be a valuable trade piece.
Right.
But what I was saying was, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that the Astros would trade him because of the value he has and the lack of depth they have in other areas. And then why he would even mention Jose Abreu, who just signed this contract, who has not performed, actually underperformed his underperformance. And then his age, ain't nobody signing that dude. And there was like, oh yeah, let's take Jose Abreu. He'll turn it around here. I don't think so. Dana did say, Eric, that they are going to be looking for someone with club control. Right. So it's got to be someone with club control. If that's a bat, I'm not sure who that would be. If that's a pitcher, that's Dylan Cease. He fits that to a T. go get me Dylan Cease. I don't know what it will cost, but I would freaking love that for this, because I'm telling you right now, I'm concerned about Javier. His velo is down. I'm afraid he might be injured. I'm afraid we might be getting some news soon that something's wrong with Javier, because he continues his velo keeps going down. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's trending downward. And this last game was terrible. He looked really, really bad out there. I'm hoping that my assumption is wrong.
Okay, I hope so too. Jay asked about the Chaz Dusty issue. I will address this in tomorrow's podcast at Home Run Dugout. We are doing a pregame show tomorrow at Home Run Dugout, so make sure you go in and check that out. And I'm not going to even address that, G. Garcia. You are trolling me, so I'm not going to bring that up.
Someone mentioned what? I'll look for it. It's okay. You don't have to say it.
But definitely there's something else I wanted to. Oh, yeah, the Yainer Diaz. Yainer Diaz was so hot this homestand. He had 10 hits, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs. 4 home runs, 4 runs. I said it right. And then he batted .286. So when he hits a home run, oh, my gosh, that's a beautiful thing. Like, I believe I saw one in person, and it's just like, it just goes. And it's just like, outside of Alvarez and maybe Tucker, we don't see somebody with this raw power that he has. And by giving him the playing time, we're seeing a different type of guy. And we're not going to have a lot of time to really get into the Dodgers series, but the Astros are not throwing their best pitchers out there. Even JP France, it has a 2-2 record with 3.42. Then you have Ronel Blanco, 1-0 with 4.66 ERA. And then you have Hunter Brown, who's coming off probably his worst start as Astro.
Well, in the Dodgers in the first game, they're throwing out a guy who's only thrown 6 innings in his major league career. So to oppose JP France, I think that's perfect. Sheehan, and then Miller, he's like 3-1, but he's going against Blanco, and like you mentioned, Brown is going against
Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, Gonsolin. I couldn't spit it out. Sorry. Yeah. He's 4-2. Look, I'm not worried about this Dodgers team, dude. This is not the Dodgers team. This is not the Dodgers of old. This is
still good.
This is a third place. Yeah, they're still good, Eric, but they're in third place. They're behind Arizona and San Francisco, and San Francisco's had their issues. I'm not worried about the Dodgers like I would have been in the past when they were, when they won they won 116 games or whatever last year. This is not the same team. This Astros team, I think, may be getting hot right now, and it would be a beautiful thing for them to go into LA and literally sweep this series. I would love to see that.
Beat
LA. And there's a lot of Astros fans, actually friends of ours, that are going to be there at Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium.
Thank you, Rob Manfred, for making a hostile environment.
Well, they've got it. They've got a pretty good network of crossover friends in LA where
I know.
They protect them and stuff. So it's all good. Astros, I think, going to LA and take care of business. I can't wait for our show tomorrow night. You guys make sure you hang out with us. And look, if you can't watch the game or come hang out with us, you can listen to the game on Friday night. Dodgers Astros, 9:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch every pitch of the Astros hometown broadcast with SiriusXM in the SXM app. Search Astros. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. He's Eric the Man Huysman. And come see us tomorrow night. Katie, Grand Parkway, Home Run Dugout. Come get a bay. Come hit some home runs. It's awesome. Maybe have a wiffle ball field. Come win free prizes, game tickets, whatever you want. Come hang out with us. Let's go.
Woohoo!